I'm sure you've all
Whoa. What's up, MK Squad? Welcome back to another legendary top of the movie reaction video. If you're new to the channel, come join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Turn your post notifications on. If you're already part of the family, we truly appreciate you and thank you. Every single one of you is a blessing and you are amazing. If you haven't heard from anyone or you haven't told yourself, well, you heard it from your boy. And also comment down below any legendary top of the movie reaction videos, pranks, and blogs you guys want to see. Give this video a big thumbs up. It helps crush that YouTube algorithm and it's totally free. So we got the TikTok hand sign that saved a teenager's life, baby. So I'm not gonna do no more talking. Let's get straight up into the video. Let's go, man.
hours and hours to scrolling through TikTok, right? I know I have. And perhaps some of it.
I'm not really on TikTok like that. You know, I didn't really download it. I downloaded TikTok one time and it's still on my phone and I'm going to delete it again because I was into the e-commerce thing. But let's keep going.
It is a waste of time. But honestly, with over 1 billion users, it can't all be that bad, right? Well, in October 2021, a 61-year-old man kidnapped an American teenager and took her across state lines. Wow. And it would probably take a miracle for her to escape, right? Luckily, she liked to scroll through social media too. But how on earth could TikTok be any help in that terrifying situation?
Man, you never know, man. See, when you have access to information, it can create transformation, baby. So the more access you have, the more wisdom you receive when you're receiving the right message. Don't get me wrong. The violence at home signal for help. Palm to camera and tuck thumb. That's amazing, man. That's a blessing from God. The creative ways we could use our creativity to communicate. You know, to use translation in words, even without speaking. Like I say always, the best teachers are the ones that teach without speaking.
Well, try to stop scrolling for a minute and listen up, because you're about to find out. Leaving a bad home situation has always been really dangerous, but with the lockdowns hitting in 2020, it became so much harder. Like, if you can't even leave the house to make a phone call, what the heck do you do to get away? Or even safely call someone for help? I wouldn't have thought turning to TikTok would be an answer, but it can be so surprising to see what else is on those videos. No, not that. I mean, TikTok has some really great advice to use.
Remember, when selecting your username and password, you never want to give out any personal information.
Facts.
And then there's other good advice.
She vibing.
Like surviving the kind of crimes that we cover on this.
Excuse your train family. You're always trying to interrupt these legendary videos. It's getting very disrespectful, yeah.
This channel all the time. In one case we covered, I remember really well, a teenager called Kara Robinson Chamberlain got captured by a serial killer. She had to be really resourceful and kept herself totally aware of her surroundings. And that's how she was able to make her lucky escape. In that video, we covered how she became a total TikTok star and even went viral when she talked about how she survived. And then she went even more viral with some really great advice about how to get away.
If it's zip tie.
I like that statement right there. You are strong as you decide to be. But also, don't get it messed up. We all have times of weakness, and there's nothing wrong with welcoming rest to your brother or sister. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people I know use that mantra of if I don't do it, who else will? But at the end of the day, you gotta work hard, but you gotta rest even harder. You know what I'm saying?
Basically pulling it tight and like kind of pushing your arms apart really.
And I mean,
oh, let me see that tape. If it's zip ties, there are several too.
Basically pulling it tight and like kind of pushing your arms apart really.
And I mean, there's always someone who might try and grab a person who looks vulnerable. This means you have to act really fast, make a lot of noise, and never let them take you to a second location. For example, look at this boy from Utah. Last year, a sketchy person in a van stalked him, offering him candy for 2 whole blocks, not far from where he lived. He ran really fast, but when he finally made it home, his front door was locked. So he tried to drive the creeps away.
Panic. I picked up rocks and I was holding them like this and I was gonna throw them, but
luckily the boy was able to get to a neighbor's house and call the cops on those freaks. Yeah, that is so scary.
God bless him. It take a lot of courage. I start throwing them joints too like lava balls, you feel me? And I'm not even trying to joke. I'm being dead serious.
But in this case we're covering now, a teenager from North Carolina was taken by someone she and her family already knew. Her parents quickly declared
You'll be surprised, man. Who you know be the main ones, you know what I'm saying?
her missing, but after 2 days, nobody had seen or heard any trace of her. It must have been awful for them, but nobody had any idea where she was, who she was with, or what was being done to her. You know, the worst cases we cover show just how often the victims and survivors already know or knew the person who hurts them. And here, the teenager and her kidnapper had known each other well, all thanks to being a part of a camping community which she went to often with her family. Because of her age and the situation, I don't think her name is being released yet. But I've learned that this North Carolina teenager had willingly gone with her kidnapper at first because, you know, he was a friend, no stranger danger.
You know what I'm saying? Looking like, you see, when you familiarize yourself with people, you give access because you think nothing going wrong, you know what I'm saying? But we all misread the room. We might think someone that's there for us is not really there for us, but, you know, we're not God, you know what I'm saying? We just spread the love and embrace.
There, right? But it quickly got really scary for her.
That's crazy,
He
though.
actually threatened to harm her pet dog if she tried to escape. I'm guessing that this happened at around the point where the teenager wanted to get the heck out of this guy's car. Look, nobody hurts a puppy on my watch. So she really didn't have a lot of choice but to do everything that he wanted. Also, this is a smart thing to do once they've got you. A lot like Kara Robinson did, she was probably playing along to see if she could, you know, lull him into a false security. And at least she wasn't locked in a plastic box or tied up somewhere else. She still had some options. All she had to do was wait, and then she could make her move. But he was probably a lot bigger than she was. So I bet by now you're totally wondering just how was TikTok involved in this case.
Secret signal.
About a year ago, there was a viral TikTok from the Canadian Women's Foundation, and it was really useful. It showed the emergency hand signal to use when you're not able to speak out loud, or if you don't want to leave a digital trace of your message. So, like, if the abuser is within hearing range, the hand signal is a really great way to make a friend aware that you need their help. Have a look at this example. In this apparently very normal video, a lady is asking for her banana bread recipe. Keeping it light, you know?
I know your mom is a great baker, so I should be good.
But then the whole meaning
Her
of
whole face, yo. Yo, her whole face, her whole eyes, like, even trying to put the facade up of a smile, it's just right there and bam. It's just, I look at this like,
I know your mom is a great baker, so I
look at her eyes.
should be good.
but then the
Yeah, bam.
whole meaning of this friendly chat changes with the signal. I think that the woman's friend reacts really well here. She doesn't give anything away about the true situation, but she obviously sees what's happening. So she can call the cops or at least find a way to check on her to be sure. It's a really good idea. And if you feel like baking banana bread, also pay attention. But seriously, this is good advice.
It
But
is.
it all depends on if anyone has any idea on what the signal means and if they believe the person doing it. By this point, our North Carolina teenager had been missing for 2 whole days. So time
I felt like this would basically enforce the knowledge of law enforcement to expand their knowledge. You know what I'm saying? When you're open-minded and you're open to a lot of resources to learn and, you know, never turning down any information to, you know, innovate and transform, it creates the goodness, it added to the goodness to serve and protect the community. And this situation right here just
time was definitely running out.
This is
She'd
in a
have
nutshell
to
what
be
it is.
smart to survive this. On November 5th, 2021, the police picked up this very worrying 911 call.
This phone is Toyota Corolla from Madison County. This female on the passenger side, brunette, motioning for help, call 911.
Even if they weren't clear what the caller meant, of course, this all sounded really bad. So the
Facts.
Kentucky police set up a huge roadblock ahead of the kidnapper's Toyota. So they caught the kidnapper. He was a man
Wow.
called James
Good.
Herbert Brick and got him
God is good, man, all the time.
out of the car. The teenager ran to the police and then they searched him. The police found some very sketchy material on Brick's phone. He tried to hide it in his deleted files. Remember to empty that recycle bin, sketchy people. When the authorities uncovered all that gross stuff, Brick got really mad, which is always such a great idea when you're in front of the cops, especially when they've just rescued a teenager from you. Oh boy, that's a bad move.
So basically, So basically, she signaled someone in the car, and then that's what created the rescue. You feel me?
Sellers have used it.
So with that scary detail in mind, I really hate to think what could have happened to her if he'd been able to keep driving her to their final destination. Luckily, James Brick just thought that she was waving at drivers, but she was doing the hand signal the whole time. This finally caught the attention of a driver who spotted that the teenager was also silently saying, "Help me." So she was totally terrified. By now, this guy had taken her to North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, and finally Ohio, where he had relatives. But once the relatives realized what
North Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky, bro. 3 states just driving around like, dang, like, bro.
He'd done, her age, and the fact that she was declared missing, they just didn't want to know. But she must have had some idea that her future didn't look good. I hate to think what he was going to do next. By the time the cops saved her, they said, and of course the teenager was totally scared of what he might do. It's all super nasty.
Of course, this cause right here of her going through all this is going to affect how she embraces people now. It's going to change her mindset, but God is going to work through her. And at the end of the day, going to give her that courage and to stand up when things aren't right and to set them boundaries in that space real tight. You know what I'm saying? Being real wise, the best she can be, and doing the best she can do, because we don't know people's intentions unless we ask the right questions. The right questions put people away, push people away, the wrong people. Also, just, keeping your distance, because you don't know how people going to move, how people going to react. And you got to guard your heart. You got to guard yourself at times. But so detrimental for this little young adult, this young smart woman who, not only spreaded the awareness throughout the world on educating ourselves through these tactics of protecting ourselves, but on top of that, it's like she was a blessing, and this is her testimony amongst others who are going through something similar and stuck in their homes or going through being in a bad environment. But man, just knowing how detrimental it's going to be for her to trust people and how to trust people and how to know if she can. Yeah, it's really gonna play a big role,
isn't it? Ugh, she might have been doing that signal for a long time, and it's lucky that anyone saw her before Brick realized her plan.
We don't know how long coming down the interstate from Ohio that she had been doing this to other motorists, hoping that they would notice that she was in distress.
It's a good thing that he thought she was just waving and that he probably didn't hang around in the women's rescue TikTok feeds. Maybe he was more of a thought kind of guy, The police charged him with...
Did she say thought?
Maybe he was more of a thought kind of guy.
No, she just not. No, she just not. Just use that verbiage.
The police
I'm done.
Charged him with possession of that creepy photograph and for unlawfully imprisoning the teenager. But because this weird case crossed state lines, the FBI got very involved too. And of course, they're taking this case super seriously.
Of course, who wouldn't?
Even better, the FBI added...
You cannot be ignorant to this. You cannot be ignorant to this at all. The simple fact is, the cause, now you got to realize what was the cause of this man to be doing these things that's affecting him so much. Now you got to go deep and down to his traumas, and now he just created a everlasting trauma for a young, good-hearted young woman. Like,
kidnapping.
Hurt people, man.
Charges to Brick's arrest. So the judge increased this creep's bail from $10,000 to $50,000. So
That's it?
No,
That's it?
Won't be doing this again for a long time.
Bro, that's $50,000, bro. Like, what, bro? Like, life. No, but who am I to do? But, man, listen. So that female's life was worth $50,000. It shouldn't even be an option. It shouldn't even be no bail. Shouldn't even be talked about, brother. You got to sit down. We got to get you. We got to help you. We got to help you and welcome you to the resources, you know, to feed your mind with the right message through the grace of God to get your mentality better. But at the end of the day, these are the consequences behind your action, man. And $50,000 bail.
Good. The case is also already going to a grand jury. This means that a trial is definitely coming up. It's a pretty big deal, and we'll probably learn even more.
I understand
about
courts got to go through a trial, but at this point, some things are just so self-explanatory. Why even prolong it with a trial? Like,
been there in a year
I
or two.
don't get it, man.
But for now, at least more and more people know about this case and that useful hand signal. And the teenager might have even heard of it thanks to a much sadder story. Gabby Petito's infamous videos got analyzed heavily even before they found her remains. It's so sad, isn't it? But it's totally possible that poor Gabby was using that exact distress hand signal to show the world that she was in a whole lot of trouble. But in those videos, it's still pretty hard to tell for sure. And back then, it wasn't as well known. I mean, the police have only just realized what it is. But
you see what I'm saying? That's why the law enforcement needs to really inform themselves and be open-minded to anything that can serve the community to help others and save people, man.
Just really happy that
if you just stay stuck on what you know from 50 years later and times just change, see, life is going to force you to have the wisdom. So if you 50 years later, you still doing regular what the 50 years later cop did, and it's, bruh, that's like you using a flip phone, and now we got contactless purchasing. Use Apple Pay and everything else. You still using a flip phone. Now we using chaos, a kiosk to make purchases when we go in the store, self-checkout, and do our own order at the deli, or order our foods, or, Instacart, where food is getting delivered to us when we do it online. And you still using a flip phone, and now with everything going on in the world, how you gonna keep up? How you gonna live? How you gonna survive? Now you're just being ignorant to the wisdom that's being pushed out to you for you to step your game up and live life.
this case had a happy ending, and all thanks to one simple hand gesture. Now, I'm going back to scroll through TikTok. Well, maybe I'll learn some serious self-defense instead. Can't hurt, right? So what
Dog can't hurt.
do you think about this case? Would you remember to use the hand signal? Let me know what you'd do in the comments
bro.
below.
Like, you ain't gotta ask that question. I remember to do the hand signal. You feel what I'm saying? I will do the hand signal. You like, who wouldn't do the hand signal? You know what I'm saying? Because anything good, that's what I'm saying. A lot of us some of us be ignorant to the information that's given to us until something forces us to have to remember that information. All information ain't bad information. Like for example, you could be ignorant in faith. You could be thinking you doing something so good, but honestly you being selfish. But if you read a book and you rebuke yourself and you reinforce and you get through and you learn and school yourself on those attributes of being righteous and doing right in faith, which is righteousness is just having faith the right way, believing in the right way. That's all that means. Doing the right thing through faith, and which was saved by God. But if you don't school yourself or read the Bible or, you know what I'm saying, give yourself that wisdom to clear your mind and see beyond things, to open your mind, you'll be closed-minded. But I'm going to leave it right there, family. This was a wonderful testimony, a blessing to the world. This young woman is a blessing to the world, period. Just like every single one of you are. Stay spreading that peace, love, and positivity, and spread good wisdom, man. We are the light and salt in the earth, as it say in the Bible, and we add that goodness. You know what I'm saying? You know how salt can add the goodness to food? Well, we add the goodness to the earth, family. I'm going to leave right there with a legendary peace.